Hey, it's Amy and Tim from Go With Less. Today we are talking about FlixBus in Europe. Taking FlixBus in Europe saved us a ton of money on our trip in Europe. We're going to be talking about what would have been nice to know before we got to Europe, before we got on those buses. What I found in doing my research is I couldn't find any of this stuff consistently. I saw what was supposed to happen, but what really happened on FlixBus. We are sharing 16 tips in less than 10 minutes. Stay tuned. Tip number 1. Chances are you're using FlixBus to save money. So buy your tickets early if at all possible. We booked all 8 of our FlixBus trips way before we took them, sometimes 6 to 10 weeks in advance. We found that on the longer haul bus rides, this saved us quite a bit of money. It might not always work on the shorter rides, but for the longer ones, definitely do your homework and see if it gets much cheaper further out.
Tip number 2. You want to show up to the bus station / bus stop early. And so the reason for that is multifold. So the first part of this is you want to get there early because every station we seem to experience was just slightly different. There were nuanced differences with every place. Some of them there was actually a place to go that was obvious. Some of them where you were going to get on the bus was not obvious. So you want to get there early enough to sort of get situated. The second part of this tip is if you're there early and the bus happens to be there as well, you can get in line so that you can get a seat on the bus because typically the seats are not assigned, and so you want to get on so you can get the seat that you want to get versus just whatever seat happens to be left.
Number 3, have your ID, your passport, your ticket ready to go as soon as that bus pulls in. Your ticket can be electronic or it can be paper, but whatever it is, have it ready. Some buses needed passports, some buses didn't. It didn't matter necessarily whether you were traveling across country lines either. Just have your documents ready because it's a little fast and furious as everybody's trying to scramble on the bus, and having that ready will help a lot.
Number 4. So the next thing we want to talk about is luggage. And so when you show up to the bus stop, the bus driver typically is going to be loading the bags onto the bus. So before we left the States, when they sent us our e-ticket, they gave us these bag tags, which I printed out and laminated before we left the States. 16 of these, and we didn't use a single one. They did not care about this. However, something that's on here is your destination. They do care about your destination because they want to make sure that the bags are organized on the bus appropriately so that whenever everybody stops at a given stop, they're getting the right bags off. So oftentimes the bus will make multiple stops along the way. So again, it's important that they get your bags organized. Something else that's important to note is that you probably don't want to have your valuables underneath in your bags because when they're taking things off the bus, there's really nobody there watching and people just grab whatever. So it's a very just willy-nilly situation going on as they unload bags off the bus. So just something else to be aware of.
Tip number 5 continues with more luggage talk. We were allowed to bring 2 pieces. One was a normal size piece of luggage, and the other was a smaller bag that can go in the bus with us. We had seen the bus driver weighing some of these. He has like a little handle to weigh things. So there is some weight limit, so definitely go look on the site if you are packing quite a bit. But we weren't busted on the weighing. What we did have is like an extra little day pack that sometimes we could stuff that in and unpack it and all of that. We could consolidate to 2 bags each, but we often came to FlixBus with 3 bags each, prepared to go to 2 bags if we had to. We fortunately didn't have to. Nobody stopped us, but we did see other people stop. So keep in mind that there is a luggage allowance and you might just want to make sure you're compliant. There was a small fee if you weren't, so it's not so crazy like the airlines.
Number 6. FlixBuses are not always lime green. They're all different colors, and sometimes they're not even marked as FlixBus.
Tip number 7, pay attention to your route number. 8 for 8, our route number matched what our itinerary and ticket showed. Sometimes multiple FlixBuses with the same destination showed up. It was important that we got on the right bus with the right route number.
Number 8, FlixBuses leave fast. And so as soon as they show up and they've got the tickets situated and the bags under the bus, they are leaving as quickly as they can.
Number 9, announcements. They were all over the map. Sometimes there were pre-recorded announcements, very clear in English, German, French, question mark language. Sometimes there were very few announcements, might just be in the country's home language. And the bus driver might be saying it, and he might be kind of quiet. I think we only saw men as bus drivers, so if we call bus drivers he, we saw 8 for 8 he. So be aware that the announcements, you may or may not understand them. So go with, we're not going to understand them. We did not have trouble with it, but just something to be aware of.
Tip 10, internet. So FlixBus says that the internet is available on all buses. That wasn't our experience. It was on most of them. However, it almost may as well not have been there. So it was consistently slow, and it's capped at 100 meg. And so that doesn't matter if your ride is for 1 hour or for 12 hours, you get 100 meg of data. And so Amy pretty consistently burned through hers in about 20 minutes of being on the bus.
Number 11. Food. We're obsessed with food. We're told that FlixBus has food and snacks for purchase. We saw that, I think, maybe 1 time out of 8, and some of these are long trips. So we did see it 1 time. I think it might have been a little self-service, and it was kind of like convenience store stuff. So chips and prepackaged sandwiches, maybe a drink or so. But again, that was only, I think, on 1 out of 8.
Tip 12, toilets. So every bus had a toilet, however, toilets didn't consistently work. Sometimes the toilets were closed off because they were malfunctioning. Sometimes the toilets didn't have toilet paper. Sometimes the toilets didn't have water. So they were consistently there, but I would plan on using the toilet before you get on the bus.
And regulating your liquids. Tip number 13. Some of the buses we took were direct, no stops. Some made stops. Those that made stops sometimes picked up a lot of passengers. So maybe the bus was not so full, and then we picked up an entire half bus, and all of a sudden the bus is completely full. So don't get your hopes too set on an empty seat next to you if that's how you start.
14, rest stops. So there was no consistency with this rest stop concept. However, I think on 3 different occasions, the bus would stop along the way, stop at a rest stop. Sometimes it would be there for 10 minutes, sometimes it was there for 30 minutes. And the idea is that you can get off, get a cola, walk a little bit, use the restrooms at the rest stops instead of the ones that are on the bus that don't work. And so, but no consistency with rest stops. However, sometimes there are stops.
Number 15, set an alarm if there is any chance you may be asleep at your bus stop. We pulled into one place at 5:30 in the morning, and if we had not had that alarm set, there was a really good chance that we might have slept through the whole thing and kept on going.
16, download the FlixBus app. So the app will show you where the bus is, and when it's going to be late, it'll notify you of things like that. They're supposed to send you an email, or at least that was our understanding, when the buses were running late or things were going awry. However, the app seemed to be the best way that we found to keep up to date with what's going on with our bus in real time.
I hope you found that helpful. We found our FlixBus experience to be overall very positive. Their website was extremely user-friendly to use. They went everywhere.
At home, it was extremely easy to use. So back in the States, it was very easy to navigate. So it's not FlixBus is a German company, so it's not a German website. When you're interacting with the website back in the States, it looks like something you would expect back at home in the US.
Yeah, and that is not, by the way, the train in Germany was very unuser-friendly, the website. So even though it's a German company, that doesn't mean they have a good website. So we found that it was very affordable. We found the buses to be generally on time. We found that they were
clean, comfortable.
Yeah, so no issue from us with FlixBus. Like I said before, we saved a lot of money using it, so we would highly recommend FlixBus. Just know what it's all about.
I think the word that we chose to use is going to be, it's a great value. So FlixBus was the right choice for us. We got where we wanted to get in a timely manner, and the price was right.
Yeah, so have you taken FlixBus? Please put the comments down below. If you think that others may benefit from this, we'd love it if you shared it. If you did find it helpful, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe below, leave a comment because we respond to every one of them. We appreciate you watching. Thank you.